And we're live! Hello all, and welcome back to the Sigil stream. My name, as always, is Mr. Holland Guthrie, and I'm here once again, joined by the fantastically hilarious Mr. Gary.
Hello, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm wonderful. One of my favorite people alive, Mr. Ahmed.
Oh, hey guys, can't wait to get into Hereafter, and oh my god, what's happening? Oh,
Erica's here too.
I'm here. I have more light. I sucked up all the light he had.
And of course, one of my literal favorite people alive, Joe.
Oh, Ahmed. Always falling into darkness.
And we are back with Hereafter, the First Fire, Chapter 8.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I have to say, Erica, did you take out a wall in your place?
No. So, what I did was I moved my screens. So
Was it always like that?
That line there, that's me having my pandemic project for about, let's say, 6 months, where I had to paint a staircase. It's not that hard. I've just been lazy. Eventually I'll get along to it.
No, I'm so confused. Hold on. There was a wall there, wasn't there?
No. She
I
just
always
moved her
had
screen.
the camera just perfectly sized, so this was always just slightly off screen.
Seriously?
But
I
I'm
think
free now.
I think the first screen we saw, because I remember seeing someone go downstairs and be like, oh, Erica's with someone in the apartment.
I honestly just thought there was a wall there, and I just never realized.
Well,
But,
Harlan, the other option is that there was a wall, and I've been very busy after all.
what do you mean? You mean that I'm going crazy? I need like a
I can
10.
confirm nothing. Although I can as well. Wait, no.
Yeah, you can confirm that I'm a moron and I just don't pay attention. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hereafter. If you've been watching the other 7 episodes, you know exactly where we're at. It's a very exciting time for our little adventurers. We are going to be starting off this stream by leveling up to level 4, which is really exciting. You all deserve it.
Yay.
Woohoo. But of course, if you are not familiar with the 7 previous episodes of this campaign, go back and watch them. It makes 0 sense to start at 8. And if you're trying to catch up, it's just going to be a long time. There's going to be a lot of questions. It's not going to be very fun for you. Or us, because we don't want to do that job. But how's everybody doing otherwise? Erica, how are you?
I'm feeling good, and I would honestly love if somebody came to prove me wrong with a summary of everything that's happened in 4 sentences. I don't know how it happened, but challenge is there.
You just want to see people prove me wrong.
Oh yeah, like that's not my goal, but if that happens, that's a nice benefit. I'm not going to say no to that.
I may be wrong. That's a Billy Joel song. But not really, because it's actually you may be right, and most of the time I am. At least in this game, because D&D, the Dungeon Master is king or queen, or whatever you want to be called. Have you all done a little bit of thoughts on your level 4, or are we going to be winging it tonight?
Both?
Yeah.
Be earnest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ahmed.
I'm gonna lean into my my berserkness a little bit.
Ooh.
Yeah, I decided to go. I think I'm gonna go for some ability modifiers and increase my strength, so I'm just more deadly when I'm off the chain.
Nice.
So you're going to be even more of a liability to your friends.
Oh, yeah.
Very fun.
Whoops.
That was
Hey.
the point, right?
Nothing wrong with that. Hope everyone is enjoying their Tuesday night. If you're watching this, I think we can get right into it. I'm going to play the credits, and then I want to get right into leveling up and finding out where we're at. And also, can I offer you a nice egg at this time?
I know that's
still
popped
there.
into my head
Nice
just
egg.
randomly
I
over
love
the
it.
last week.
It's
Just
the
keep
best.
picturing it.
It's so good. And that actually is new season starts. I don't know why I'm pitching. I'm pumping a fucking FX
They
show
don't
like
need
it
us.
matters.
They don't need our help.
Check out this little show. It's always sunny. The longest running actual play, or not
Actual play
actual
comedy?
what's called live action. Live action. Everything in my mind is based around
It's a documentary.
That's right.
Actually, I will say
Oh.
that if you like spooky horror audio dramas, the newest episode of Malevolent is out now. And you can check that out, because I do make that show, and it is a show worth checking out, because it's pretty good.
I mean,
don't have any-
speaking of pitching other things, I'm
Pitch it.
kind of wearing merch for something completely unrelated. Like, this is not related to this. So
Yeah?
if you guys do have merch that is wearable in nice oversized sweater hoodie format, hit me up. I'll rep that.
Wait, is
Yeah.
that just like a clothing brand? Yikes.
No, it's
Yikes.
from Eddie Burback on YouTube. On the YouTube.
I don't know who that is.
Go to www.youtube.com.
what you're saying-
HTTPS.
//
Are you saying Sigil merch or like our own shit merch? Because
I
you
mean,
wanna...
both.
Okay.
I'll if you're giving me options like that, don't tempt me. with
I mean, I
those
did miss your
things.
birthday, so we'll send Erica a Dice Shame hoodie.
I was saying that. I was like, Harlan, come on. I was
please.
there waiting.
What'd you say, Gary?
You have hoodies?
Of course we do.
Are they turquoise?
Turquoise? What color?
That's all Ahmed wears.
Is that all? I mean, you are wearing turquoise right now, are you not?
Oh, I am.
Wait, are you being
This
serious?
is my character sheet.
Ah, they're nice.
Oh,
And actually,
I
yeah.
like that.
It's not accurate, but it's,
I was gonna say your strength 18.
yeah, no, that's not.
it's
that can't
emotional
be
strength.
It's emotion. Yeah. That's,
I like it.
It's clever. Clever.
They got one that's not far off turquoise. It's a
Who?
lighter blue.
We?
Yeah.
Are
How'd
you
you get
being
our
serious?
store
Are
so
you
fast?
actually
I'm
have
on your
this?
site
Sneaky
now.
Pete.
Of course we do. We
Yeah,
got merch.
that's the
Shame.
color of
Bad
the,
Dice
like the
hoodie.
logo.
That's right. Go to diceshamepodcast.com. Buy a
Unisex.
Yeah.
unisex.
We have lots of merch.
We use Redbubble now.
How has that never been pitched while I've been here? I would love hoodies. I'm very easy to sell to. I'm
We usually
ultimate
don't try
consumer.
to sell to our friends.
Hey
I mean,
guys.
sell to. I'm saying as a friend, sell to me, please.
I will.
There is an emotional support goat cap. I love how we're
Oh, yeah.
I love how we're pushing Dice Shame stuff on the Sigil stream.
It's all the family.
I mean, yeah, it's true. And you know what? Aaron would be totally fine with it. Speaking of, much love out to Aaron and his family at this time. I don't want to go into it because I don't know how personal it is, but let's just say that Aaron is an amazing force. He is somebody who's been in this business for so long. He gave me a shot at doing this silly show as well as some other stuff, and I owe him a debt of gratitude and kindness because he's just always been a wonderful person to interact with. And he and his partner are going through a really tough time right now. So especially tomorrow morning, if you are a religious person, please send your prayers. If you are if you're not a religious person, just send maybe some good wishes on Discord. I almost stepped in it there. But whatever you can do, if anything, send some nice gifts to the Discord to Aaron because I think they could use it at this time. That's what I'm gonna say. I don't know why that was such an uproarious applause. Really, I just needed some sound to change the subject because I almost said something dumb, which is not unlike me. Speaking of, let's get into Hereafter and try to take our minds off the terrible realities of real life by playing some roles. Chapter 8 starts now. The darkened underhalls of the temple seem almost claustrophobic around you. The scattering of sand falling from the roof above you startles you slightly as the eruption that sounded just down the hall moments ago finally ceases, the ringing in your ears slowly dying out. You each share a look between each other. A job well done. You are in the town of Hythe, and you have completed your first official job as adventurers in one way or another, and you've just leveled up! Level 4, I would not say is the most exciting level. I would argue level 5 is the most exciting level. But it is definitely up there in terms of when you finally get to the point of, being able to do some real damage and customizing your character. So, without further ado, let's put the spotlight on my love, Gary.
I knew you weren't going to say me.
Brea. Joe.
I'm
Oh,
offended.
wait, I have one. Of course, my love. Take it away. What is Joe/Brea level 4?
Yeah. I went for a feat, as long as that's okay with you. I didn't run it past my DM.
Who does?
Always run your specific choices about feats versus ability scoring increases past your DM first.
To me, I think
Unlike
it's
me.
totally okay, unless it's a feat that is not in player's handbook, at which point then you need to ask. But for me, that's kind of one of the advantages of being able to make a character.
Yeah.
Especially, I hate the GMs that are like, you can have a feat, but you can't have this one, this one, this one, this one, or this one. It's like, no.
No fun ones.
And none of the fun ones. Lay it on us.
I'm taking the mobile feat. So
Ooh.
first off, that gives me an extra 10 feet of just hoofing it movement.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be at 40 feet per action, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then also, when I dash, difficult terrain does not slow me.
Nice.
And finally, when I melee attack, I do not provoke attacks of opportunity from that creature for the rest of my turn. So it's like a free disengage.
Whether you hit or miss, too.
That's right. So Brea is going to start getting up close and personal a little bit more. She's going to put the bow aside and start using her rapier to hopefully deadly effect.
I like that.
Getting in, sneak in, disengage, cha-cha-cha. And then
Please.
I
say
like to
cha-cha-cha every
take-
time you do it.
that's right. I like to take the average for hit point increases rather than rolling. So I'm at 23.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's decent.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's decent.
I'm excited.
It's decent.
It's decent.
Dece.
That's decent.
Ahmed,
Got
Kala
like
got a.
2 dice.
I was gonna say it's like dece. It's French.
For 10 dice.
For decent.
Kala, Ahmed, you got cursed
Yeah.
last episode.
Yeah. I got way cursed. I picked up an axe. It looked good, but it turned out to be really bad. So now I decided to lean into that a little bit, and I'm going for an ability score increase to my strength as well as to my wisdom, because I'm probably going to be saving a lot because I'm cursed.
Yeah, fair.
So I went ahead for the wisdom increase and for the strength increase, which put me right to +4.
Nice.
So I'm gonna be losing my mind a little bit. I think it's gonna be fun.
This time I'm losing my mind. This time I'm losing my mind. Anyway, Erica, what do you got?
I got a little bit painted into a corner here, Harlan.
Uh-oh.
I, for some reason, have some stupid rules in my mind whenever I'm creating characters. One of them is that I don't have Sal take any spells that require concentration. They're all instant reaction spells. All of them.
That's a very interesting concept.
I don't really know why. I think it's playing to the idea that Sal's a little bit short-sighted. He's very in the moment and doesn't want to sit around thinking about these grand ideas. That's for his friends back home. So he has one, which is detect poison disease. That's it. Everything else is instant. So I had to pick spells that were like create or destroy water. Because
Wow.
I had another slot. I had no idea what else to put in there.
Interesting.
So I figure that's a nice little compliment to the whole mold earth that I have going on there.
Yeah, it is.
Also, there's a little bit of I think a sense of Sal getting a little bit more comfortable using his actual more feral forms, which he didn't expect to rely on. He's only ever used it to find new things for his friends, but now he seems to be actually fighting. Learned a couple tips that way. So I've taken Primal Savagery to help give me some sharpened fingernails to claw into people when they were in melee range, because I figure he may as well have that ready to go.
Nice.
And as far as feats go, which I took instead of an ability score, I
Yes.
took Sentinel. I don't know really why.
Oh, that's a good one.
Interesting.
So you're the tank.
That's
I am in a situation where I hope to never ever use it. If I'm lucky, this will be the useless, most worthless thing I've ever taken. But
That's
should
hilarious.
things happen where I have to deal with the spider again, at least when I hit a creature with an opportunity attack, creature speed becomes 0 for the rest of the turn. Creatures provoke opportunity attacks from me, even if they take disengage. When a creature within 5 feet of me makes an attack against a target other than me, the one I hate the most, I can use my reaction to make a melee weapon attack against the attacking creature.
Damn, Erica, that's a good build.
Yeah, that's a very
You did a
interesting
good build.
build.
Let me just say, I've never done this before. I've never even seen this before. But I want to give you inspiration right now on your character decisions because I am blown away that you are essentially crippling your spell choices because of a role-playing option. I've never seen that. Most times people will be like, oh, I role-play. Maybe they'll go as far as be like, I'm going to take more esoteric spells. But I've never seen them be like, well, because he's somebody who doesn't want to concentrate, I'm not going to take a concentration spell besides that one. And I think that is such an awesome way to bring in the role playing in a spell that I've honestly never seen anyone do it that way before. So huge kudos to you. Well done.
Thank you.
Inspiration.
Inspiration.
Right? Have any of you seen? I don't think I've played with anybody that's
No.
done. Like I've seen people role play spells for sure. You know, be like, oh, I'm a very smart person, so I have a lot of intelligence based spells. But I've never seen them be like, well, I feel like he's really this, so I'm gonna not take any spells of fire. That's cool.
The only reason I have that one concentration spell is because that's detect poison and disease, which makes sense. That's the one he's actually studying and taking time for. Everything else,
I think that totally
everyone's happy except Sal.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And finally, but not leastily, Garrissy. Why don't you tell us what you're doing?
Garrissy. I took a feat also, which was lucky because, let's face it, I rolled terrible. And it seems to be fun. And I also leveled up in the physical real world. I got a new set of dice.
Ooh, show
Finally.
us. I want to see. I want to see.
NSP dice sack.
Ninja
What is-
Sex Party have a set of dice. And they're my favorite band.
All right.
And they have dice. And
Are
they were
they
very
your favorite
overpriced.
band? That's
Yeah,
Can we
fucking
see
love
them? Can we
Yeah,
see
yeah,
the
hold
dice?
on.
Show us your dice.
Here's my dirty dice.
Let's see
Hold
this.
on, let me see, get the fucking camera on these babies.
Ooh, I like.
They're nice.
Are they metal?
They are, yeah, they're pretty
they are
nice. So they're extra noisy.
I like
Love
it.
it.
Put
I
those
think
in your
they got an
dice
extra spell
tower.
as well.
I want to
Yeah.
hear it.
It's not in here, so just drop it from a height.
It's gonna sound like an earthquake.
That's nice.
I just feel like that makes so much sense for Garrus, but also I'm like, if you wanted to take it to the next extreme, that Plinko game where it was like that big tower and you had little sticks and you had to take the sticks out for that but a dice tower. Just
Like
that
Kerplunk or something like that?
specifically
Yeah.
as a dice tower.
It's gonna fuck him off the wall.
Yeah.
Look at a 6.
That's awesome, Gary. I'm so proud. I'm so proud that you bought yourself a set of dice for playing more. That's always a
They're
good
very
feeling.
nice.
Yeah.
No, but it is when you're like, oh, you know what? I'm playing so much more role-playing games. I deserve a set of dice. So,
This is like an ultra nerd cred thing,
yeah.
but I like the dice. The metal dice are great because they land like flat. I don't
Yeah.
like the dice like play when you roll them. You know, like
Yeah.
sometimes dice will like. I'm not
These-
into that. I like
They
when
have a
land
solid. It's like
confidently.
it's like
Yeah,
when
they do.
when Frodo lets go of the ring
And it's just like
and it doesn't
Magnet
bounce. It
stuff.
just goes. It like shows the weight of it.
They
Yeah, I like
explain
it to
that they
roll,
do
but
Stay down.
Erica nodding.
The only
real
tiny
nerd
bits I
cred,
know are
deep
the
nerd
dramatic highlights, and that's the one.
You know that.
If
Didn't
it's
they
made it
use
to
like
me,
a
it's
magnetic floor to do that?
They did.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Listen,
We've
everyone.
all fucking watched all
Everyone's
the
watched the
commentary.
special features.
Everything.
good.
Any-
I actually
any-
did not know that, so that was
Billions
news
of
to
hours
me,
of it.
But I do know
God.
the
a lot of
toe thing.
magnetic floor bullshit today.
It's funny though because I was just talking to somebody. I was interviewing somebody on last Friday on the other show that we do on Sigil, Jason Engel, who does Magic the Gathering art, funnily enough. But
Nice.
we started getting into Lord of the Rings, and he's like referencing things, right? He was kind of like, yeah, and in Lord of the Rings and da 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 da, and I'm like, bro, like listen. We've all watched the special features. Like, the amount of people that I talk to about Lord of the Rings that eventually leads to them talking about the special features is it's almost 100%. Honestly, I don't think any special features of any movie have been watched more than the Lord of the Rings.
No, yeah, they're great.
Because it's just so many people are interested.
They're so well done.
Well, they're not only
They are
they're
fantastic.
their own movie in their own right. And Erica,
And Brett's in it.
we're gonna sit down and we're gonna all watch all 14 hours.
Bigger armies have tried, and I squirmed away.
Good, Eric.
And the cast commentary.
tried.
Flee, you fool!
Oh, that's awesome. Have we started the credits yet? Yeah, we're in the show now. Okay.
Yeah, this is the show.
Oh, yeah. We're
This
just
is
in
the
the
show.
middle of Hyde talking about
like
Lord of
Seinfeld.
some Rings.
Some rings or something.
We're talking about a fantastic jeweler in the middle of Hyde.
Yeah. I mean, there could be. Speaking of, so yeah, you were
one
standing
ring.
in the basement of the temple. What you gonna do?
Have we blown the thing yet?
Oh yeah, that was
Oh
last
yeah,
episode.
it's blown. It
Oh,
has
gone,
been
done.
blown.
No, well, we're leaving, right?
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
Finished. Job well done.
Very good work, everybody.
But
Very
as
well
far as that thing exploding goes, how much of the temple actually went with it? Was it just cleanly in the basement, or was it
Just
everything?
cleanly. So what
Okay,
you
good.
ended up doing is, remember, there was sort of a long tunnel, and then you came to that end where you looked in the chest and you found some gold and you found the
meat.
magic item. Yeah, you kind of blew where there was a passage. So conveniently enough, you do have like the ability to go back and get that dwarven petrified, person at one point if you choose. And you still have like access to the underhalls, but the threat
Oh, it's
is
gone.
expunged, as they would say.
Unless it's already been released.
Good usage of the word expunge.
Speaking of, I have a very similar die, I should say, too. These are my die, Gary.
Ah, I like the blood red and black. It's nice.
Yeah, these are ones that Joe bought me.
Are they? What are they? What are they made of? It doesn't look
They're
like
metal.
strictly like metal. Is it just metal though?
Metal and blood.
Metal and real
Pentium.
blood.
Oh,
Favorite.
bloody metal.
They're my blood. She got my blood and made die with them. So.
There was like
That's actually weirdly romantic, and
That's
I
actually
hate
very
that you
romantic.
said it with like such a romantic tone.
multiple nights of Harlem waking up. Did you
I'm
do
feeling
that?
so weak.
Do what?
There's like, shh, you'll appreciate this in 4 weeks.
She got like a vial between her teeth, taking another.
Maybe it is.
So, what do you do now?
I have a couple of things that I wanted to take with me because I know that there was the mead that was upstairs. I know there was I think I'm aware of that egg that was still there, even if I'm not keeping track of it. The dwarf was interesting, but I'm tired.
Yeah.
That was the most exhausting just set of fights, and just we didn't have help, even though people could have come and risk just as much of their lives as we were. We were on our own doing this, so
Yeah. So
exhausting.
you leave. Perfect. Yeah. You head back up the stone stairs to the second landing, past where you rested, sort of mid-fight, and back up to the main floor. And already the sun, the dawning light is pouring through the beautiful windows of this temple. And as you move down the stone hall, you see that entryway that you first tried to make it through with the large explosion in the side of the wall. Already you can see the bricks half stacked up, trying to close it, restore some sense of order to the temple as it once was. Additionally, you notice that the two bodies that were here, the two fallen fighters that must have been with Medellín's crew, have been taken. And
The ones that were inside the sanctuary part
Yeah.
of the church.
yeah, there were two
Yep.
sort of in between the pews, and maybe a moment you linger before moving on to the outside to find that the world is still and quiet. There's a feeling of emptiness at first when you reach the outside world, until you recognize the gathering crowd at the end of the long, thin town strip.
I have to ask, that crowd, as we might see it, are they in the, oh, I hope our heroes return mode, or the, oh, I don't know if they succeeded, what's coming out mode?
They're in the burying the dead at the graveyard mode. And as you see the large stone epitaphs, the large sort of statues that seem to overlook the graveyard at the end of this street, you sense immediately the light sort of bringing in over the town a warmth that you haven't seen in this land just yet. And there is a softness to the land that you've yet to see since arriving here. Your eyes adjust to the people standing at the graveyard. They're sort of gathering before this large tree, as you can see. And a massive statue overlooks them. You can see there, now you have sort of a large overview. These are titles that will be revealed to you shortly, but there's no sense in keeping you in the dark in terms of what's there. And you see them all standing near the graveyard. Do you all approach? Do you give them time?
Sal wants to sleep, so I'm leaving it over to you to say something more interesting than that.
Sure.
I look to Garrus and I say, it seems like a job for you, Paladin.
I can't bring people back from the dead.
I wasn't suggesting that, but
Not
perhaps you
yet,
could say a few
maybe.
words on our behalf.
Yes, I can do that if it. So, Garrus will look at the crowd and just be like, are they kind of having their own thing? Is there someone there giving words of fucking condolence or whatever, or are they just like standing there not knowing what to do?
Yeah, as you approach, you do see that Meduline is sort of standing before 9 graves. 9 graves she stands before. And you imagine that her words are still hanging in the air for a moment as you approach. She sort of meets your eyes for a second and sort of nods and turns back to the gathering crowd and says, "But we will persevere, for that is why we're here." And there's sort of a moment where you feel like you could interject without stepping on anyone's toes.
I suppose he'll walk up and he'll just like mainly to Magellan as opposed to the whole group.
Yeah.
He'll say something like, there are 9 graves here, but thanks to your efforts, that's all it is. There could have been a lot more had you not done what you did, and I'm just glad we were able to help you in your time of need, but you have saved this town, and hopefully together we can make sure that this will never happen again. And they'll just take a step back.
Nice. There's not going to be any penalty, but I want you to give me a persuasion roll with advantage just because I want to know how much your words affect.
Let me see.
They're not going to be like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
All right, so the first
Start
is an
throwing
8,
tomatoes.
so we're not going to use that one.
Come on, Ninja Sex Party.
Oh, 21.
Yeah!
Danny Sexbang, Ninja Brian.
Yeah, immediately
Coming
you
through.
see... Immediately you see the crowd lock eyes with you. A sincere appreciation and even admiration from some, as there's sort of a murmur and a nod throughout the crowd, before Meduline herself turns towards you and nods in appreciation and says, "Nonetheless, there's work to be done, so
No, I.
let us work," she says, and everyone sort of nods and begins departing. And as they do, Meduline approaches you, maybe with Garrus side by side, and she stands again. You now see her, this brick house of a woman, strong, able. She has some gray in her orange hair. Her features are difficult to decipher exactly how old she is, but there's a wizened look between her eyes as she studies you. "Thank you," she says. "If you'd care a moment, I'd like to talk to you in private." And she gestures to a large house just to her right, which is just off of the graveyard.
For sure. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Perfect. And she leads you towards her manor, the Silver Arm Manor. Now, again, you're tired because you've been fighting, but you did just have an 8-hour rest probably an hour ago. So you could absolutely sleep, Sal. I don't want to undercut that at all. But you're not so exhausted that you can't keep your eyes open. You're just like, I won't be able to lift anything. You know what I mean? It's like doing a really good workout first thing in the morning. Like,
So-
you're not ruined, you're just tired.
I don't want to seem like the bitter, mean one, but Sal went in there doing his best. He protested going in as tired as he was and kept going, and the others, especially Meduline, left for us to clean up their mess. We weren't the ones who were summoned here to help them. There was a completely other group, so we've been doing a favor the entire time. And despite how much the people needed their leader to rally them, while we were working, they were having a little, not party, but certainly having some chat and morale boosting among themselves. So I think Sal would quietly insist on going to sleep just to be by himself, or at least
Sure.
away from Meduline.
Sure. So maybe Meduline starts to lead you and notices you're not following or something, and she sort of turns.
I think Sal will give a pretty wry smile and say, "I look forward to having time to rest if available."
And she's sort of, not arguing in the slightest, sort of says, "Of course. The Bulwark Inn," and she points, and you see a large building sort of on the far side of the square.
Calla puts her arm around Sal and heads towards the Bulwark Inn, and then tells Sal, "Let's find some rabbit sausage. I'm starving."
That
Cool.
sounds like a wonderful idea.
Cool.
We'll do that.
So the two of you head off towards the Bulwark Inn as Brea and Garrus follow Meduline into her house. She opens the large doors and beckons you in. You see the well-trodden pathways of this house, mud staining the floor as you enter. This is a home that is very rustic. You see hunting trophies all over the walls, and it sort of speaks of country living. But beyond that, it's pretty plain. It seems like most of the time, Meduline and perhaps her daughter, who you kind of see there's a few people that might live here, seem to be out and about. And without wasting any time, she enters the abode and gestures to a couch and begins talking. She says, "You yourself must be quite tired as well. Please take a moment."
Brea walks over to the couch and kind of curls her legs up onto it, just observes the room. She's excited to be in the presence of the organizer of this settlement, being that this is the only settlement that we know of on the continent so far.
Correct.
And Brea wants to make good ends with the person who's maybe looking after this whole place, because that's how we're going to get shit done.
Yeah.
She's like, this is a well-built home. How long have you been here?
About, I suppose 5 months now. 5 months. My daughter helped bring all the wood for this place. She's the wood cutter, and she sort of gestures past the graveyard. You saw there was sort of a building that you were passing through as you were fighting near, in fact.
It is a large graveyard for such a small town. Are you used to seeing enemies like the ones that breached your walls after the explosions? These furred creatures? She's referring to the creatures that came after.
The hyena-like.
Yeah.
ones, yeah. And she sits back on a desk, sort of standing near you, just leaning casually. And she says, "Droves of them, yes." And she says, "But first, before I put anything off." And she walks behind her desk and she reaches down and she pulls up like a large sack. And she looks towards Garrus and Brea and says, "Compensation. I don't have much. Obviously, we don't have anything in terms of gold that isn't being used on a daily basis. I apologize, but I do have some items that might be useful." And she reaches in and she pulls out a small leather satchel with an embroidery on it, and she puts it down on the desk. And she reaches back in and pulls out a pair of boots, and she places them on the desk and puts the sort of sack back behind. It's just, you're welcome to these. They're both magic items, I'm told.
Sorry, the pair of boots and the satchel are magic items?
Correct.
Ooh.
Yeah. And she sort of says this, and she picks up the bag of holding and walks it over to you, Bray, and says, "It's a bag of holding. It's something that was found in one of the homes, or the temple, I should say, when we first moved in. And these," and she picks up the boots and hands them to you, Garrus. No fighting over anything, I guess. She says, "These are, I'm told, boots of false tracks." And meta for a second, we all know what a bag of holding is. It's something that you can hold many things in. The boots of false tracks is a wondrous common item. Only humanoids can wear these boots. While wearing the boots, you can choose to have them leave tracks in like those of any other humanoid of your size. And she gives them to you happily and leans back against the desk and says, "I know it's not much, but at this point it's all we can spare, and I hope that's all right."
Passing generous, I assure
Very
you.
much appreciated.
And then she
False tracks.
sighs heavily. What's that?
I found them in D&D Beyond, and I'm going to put them on.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I like the image of you just kicking off your shoes right then and there, showing these.
You don't
It's
mind, do you? They look very beautiful.
It's like when you wear your shittiest pair of shoes to go shoe shopping and you just leave like your busted kicks
Can I
at
leave
the
them here?
counter.
Yeah.
I
They're
don't
like, don't worry,
actually
we'll get
want
rid
these.
of them. You like put them back in the box.
They might
I'm gonna wear these out of here if you
So
don't mind.
she lets out a heavy sigh and just says, "So, you're not the people I sent for then." And while that question lingers, Sal and Kala, you walk into the Bulwark Inn. As you do, you notice that there are a number of people in here. Behind the bar, someone you recognize, Cole Basewind, a large orc that was bleeding profusely, is now standing behind the bar, one of his arms in a sling as he tries to clean the bar with the other rag. To the south of you, you see on a table a young gnome, a gnome that you might have recognized from your first arrival. He was sort of hanging back, sitting in a tent, and he's sort of furiously trying to eat, and his eyes lock you as well as Cole's as you both enter the inn.
Now, there are others here, right? That's just the two we noticed, the most, or that we
Right
might
now, I
recognize.
mean, there's a lot of people out by the grave, and people are kind of moving around town, hammering stuff up right now, and there's a lot of bustle. This is the morning, so it seems like these are just the only two in here at the moment.
Question: what is
Answer.
the gnome eating?
A rabbit sausage.
Okay, and the reason why I asked that is because I know there were a lot of funny plants and little trinkets done to the wheat and such. So I don't know how similar the food would look compared to what I used to.
Right. I mean, you're sort of across the room, but that's all you can kind of see at the moment.
Yeah, so I turn to Sal and I say, "The nerve, celebrating while we toil away in the underbelly of their town." And I go to the bar to have a drink.
I like that. What? So Cal actually is saying that as like openly.
Yeah,
or
I
at least
say that
knows
as
bring to him?
well. Yeah, to you, not to the other people in the bar.
I kind of
tavern.
feel like Sal wouldn't have been expecting that from Kala, given how how adventurous she was and how excited she was to finish the job. And I don't know, that's a couple points of respect in Sal's book, I think. Interesting.
So we go. Is Cole? He's not the orc from earlier, right?
He is the orc from
different
earlier,
orc.
yes.
Oh, he is. So he's the fertile yet unavailable.
Those were descriptions you gave him, I promise.
Are they inaccurate?
Maybe not.
All right. Well,
Yeah, so you
I-
enter.
Like the addition
I
of
got a drink.
fertile.
I would like a drink.
Sure. You walk up, and he sort of nods to the two of you. Welcome. And he asks what you want. You just ask for what? He's like, "I have honey mead and wine."
Yes. I'll have the honey mead and rabbit sausage, and I look at the gnome. That's eating.
Yeah, the gnome is he's like smiles at you. He's kind of like a kid, you know. He's kind of like he beams at you a little bit.
Okay, so he was furiously eating, but not furiously eating. I wasn't sure.
No, he's not angry.
It's breakfast.
No one's angry
maybe
in
he's
this
got
town.
work.
You guys are the only anger for some reason in this town.
We're still seasick.
This is delicious. 3 days later. Yeah, no, the little boy kind of like beams at you, Kala. He like gives you a big smile.
I smile back at him.
He likes that, and he kind of nods. And as your rabbit sausage goes down in front of you and your cup of mead, the little boy sort of like waves you over.
Oh, I wave him over.
Oh God.
And he's like confused. And he's like, okay. And you see him stand up. He like wolfs down the last bite of his sausage, and he picks up like a little tray, and he walks over to the bar with you, and he puts it down, and you see he's got 6 dice in there, and he's like, then you'd like to play?
I'm interested.
How much passive wisdom do I need to decide if this is a bad idea?
I don't know. You're sitting at the bar. What are you doing, Sal? This is
I
Kala's
was-
jumping.
Oh goodness, he's not watching Kyla right now. I think he'd just be neutrally commenting to Cole's his name?
Yeah, Cole is the bartender.
Cole, yeah. Saying, well, I'm glad you returned, mostly intact. How's your arm?
And he sort of looks down to it and he says, "It'll be better in a little while. How was the fight?"
Well worth leaving to us.
There was a lot of darkness.
Are you shouting that over your shoulder as you're dealing with these
As
dice?
temples occasionally can be.
No.
And, yeah. So do you order anything from Cole, or?
I think he'll probably order whatever kind of token drink he can get. I don't think that's his main focus. I just want to know, based on how things left with Sal trying to goad him into staying and failing miserably. And
Yeah, he's
then
a
him
bit
being
standoffish to you.
Yeah, and I feel like the sourness of Sal of having had to stay behind and
Yeah.
all that. Is he picking up on that, or is he being very polite? And
No,
ignoring
I don't
it?
think it's pretty clear he doesn't like you.
All right, that's fair. All right, token drink it is. And then watch to see what's happening with the dice, where something more interesting and worthwhile is worth looking at.
Sure. And Cole gives you a drink and then goes to clean something, I suppose.
What's your name, gambler?
Lewis Hunter. And he like holds a little sweaty gnome hand out towards you.
I like, shake his little hand.
Thank you. Do you know how to play 10 or more?
No.
Oh, it's easy. And he hands you 3 of the 6 dice on the tray. He says, it's very easy. You roll all 3, and then you pick one, and it stays. And then you roll the other 2, and you pick one, and it stays. And then you roll the last one. And whoever has the higher number wins, unless someone gets exactly 10 on all 3 die, in which case you win. So it's either you win at 10 or more. Do you want to play maybe 3 rounds?
I will play your game, Lewis Hunter.
Perfect.
I am interested.
Perfect. And he very excitedly picks up his 3 die, and he says, "Did you want to go first or at the same time?"
Yes, I will go first.
Okay.
How many sides?
So roll
it's a
3d6.
six-sided dice.
Yeah, 3d6.
No, he's rolling d20s.
Cheat.
No, hang on. I rolled 3d6, but it extrapolated them.
Oh,
Now
no.
I can't take it apart. I don't know.
Gotta
It
play
just-
old
You rolled
school
3
die.
5s.
Oh, you saw it? How did you see it?
You click on
I
where it
just clicked
says
on it.
3d6. On the actual.
Oh, I had to scroll down a little bit. Oops. Okay. Oh, yes, I rolled 3 5s.
Perfect. So
that-
you pick one to save, and then
crazy.
you roll 2 more.
Correct.
Which one, though?
They're both-
Choose carefully.
2 and a 1.
So which one are you picking to save?
2.
Okay. And then you roll again.
Rolling 1d6. Wow, this is... I don't know. It's fun. 4. So that is now a 5, 4, 2.
That's 10. That automatically
no,
wins.
No, he chose the 2, so that's 11.
Ah, so it doesn't. So you ended up with 11?
5, 4, and 2. Yes, I ended up with 11.
So you see Lewis sort of sit back. Oh, almost had a 10 there. Okay, my turn. And he picks up all 3 and he rolls. And he takes a 4. You see the 4. Then he picks up his die again and he rolls. And he takes a 2. Okay. And then he picks up again. And you see a 4. He says, 10 or more. Okay, that's the first round me. And he picks up the die again and says, let's go again for the second round at the same time. Meanwhile...
Are we gambling for sausages?
Well, right now, you're not gambling for anything.
Yeah.
Meanwhile...
Friendship.
Megeline sort of awaits the answer to your question. So you're not the people I sent for.
You know what? No, we're not, but we're here. And you've got us.
I have you then. Does that mean you're willing to stay? Or are you here looking for the Temple of the First Fire as well?
We come for a variety of reasons. We all
Down
made
to
the boat
person.
trip individually and on our way banded together out of adversity more than anything. I'm not sure you would have liked the group that you originally wrote for.
Yes, your kind seem much more hospitable, she says, and sort of like sort of knowingly is sort of feeding into it, the fact that only 2 of you came.
Yeah.
To get your reward.
Right. Not hospitable
said she wanted to
necessarily.
Yeah, she doesn't
being
seem
nice.
upset by it. It seems you get the vibe that this is a strong woman, that she's really used to people kind of being shitty for no reason and people being shitty for a reason. No, but like everything, like she's used to it. Like you don't come out to the frontier in a new land if you don't got skin as tough as nails.
Not everyone
Yes.
is going to be genteel
Exactly.
over here.
So she is like genuinely unworried about the other 2 on your squad. She's just kind of like, cool, you want to deal with me? Then you'll deal with me.
And it's possible that that other party will make their way here eventually, although I doubt it. I'm not sure how recently you've been back out to the coast, but it was not an easy trek.
It never was.
Though it sounds like you have your own issues here in the town. If you don't mind, we came upon you while things were very out of sorts. And we were told a couple of different stories about how the church came under attack. Now, you were in the thick of it and you saw it all. Can you tell us exactly what happened?
Yes, and more on that. I could use your help in finding out exactly what to do about what happened. You seem like people who would fit in well among us. We're all a little bit strong, a little bit prickly at times, but it's a hard life and we're willing to make it work. And as outsiders, you're in a unique position to view this untainted, our little town. And she walks over the window for a second and looks out, sort of at the graveyard. Someone is behind this. I suspected the moment the second explosion rang out that something was amiss, but after looking at the scarring on the floor of the temple basement, which I'm sure you saw, I know someone used dynamite to blow that wall open. Why? I have no idea.
Yes.
Things are already tense as it is, with people doubting my leadership. She sort of lets out a sigh. To allow this to happen. I need to find out who did it, so I can let their minds rest with doubts, and reassure them that whomever wishes to do us ill can be brought to justice. She walks back over to her desk and around it and says, here's a list of the people in this town that are still alive. Some of them you'll notice are missing still. And she slides a piece of paper over to you all, which maybe I can just also add as an overlay.
Ooh.
Ow!
Getting fancy
So-
over here.
Can
And
Gareth
she
say
says,
to her... Oh, sorry.
oh,
go
hold on. And she just says, like I said, some are still missing. If you could also help to locate them, that would be very valuable. And if you could do this for me, I'll find some way to reward you. I mean, there are also others out there that could use your help. I won't expect you to, but consider it. They're good people for the most part. Some trying to start a new life, some who deserve it, some who don't. And she sort of thinks on it and says, we're down to 15 now, if we're lucky. Oh, wait. And she grabs the paper back and scribbles a name on the bottom. Ozymin Wind's Spell, and puts a question mark next to it and says, 16. And then hands you the piece of paper. What were we going to ask, Garrus?
So he'll say, so if I'm understanding correctly, you think someone within your ranks, within this town, started this? And are probably still here?
I don't know whether they're still here, but they most definitely started it.
Well, who among this list is your most vocal dissenter, or who speaks out the most against your leadership? I'm going Scottish, god damn it. I'm from Wales!
It's difficult, I'm sorry. She looks down and says, Cole Basewind is a good man. Say is Gabriel Clark. I crossed them out. I don't think they're possibly targets, but I'm not going to put anything past. Avar Gardner, he's tricky. He's a bard, human. I don't trust him, personally. Reese has always been difficult, but frankly, I don't think he's smart enough to be working against me. Robert Thompson, we can't find. Nye Davis Strout. Cole knows more about Davis, as he did a bit of jobs for him. I don't know much about him, but he strikes me as an odd folk. Tapper Key, also can't find him. He's a bleeding quillmaker, came to the front for no reason that I could make sense. He's a turtle, she says, almost with like a bit of disgust. And then she says, beyond that, I don't think anyone else could have it. Maybe a Mazamin, but again, we can't find him either. She sort of like sits back, almost deflated. I'm doing my best. I did not come out here to be a fucking mayor. I came out here to be a woodworker with my daughter. But when Tommel died, someone needed to stand up, and as much as these people try, none of them has a head to lead. They're all too selfish. No one wants to do what might be good for everyone. And so it fell on me, and believe me, there is not a day that goes by that I wish I just said fuck it and left, but then no one's left. And you can tell this is a woman, a strong woman, that clearly is just trying to do literally the job that no one else wants to do.
I like her.
I'm over here like, you need a spa day. Like, I'm not there.
And yeah, sorry. What other questions do you have for her?
Do you have anything, Gary?
I don't think so.
Do you want a second to think? Because there's plenty of stuff that you could be asking.
Oh,
We'll
yeah,
jump back to
definitely.
the others.
Yeah.
Kala and Lewis are odds and odds, the second round. Have you already rolled, or are you rolling now? You're muted.
No, I didn't know we were still going. Cool.
Of course. Yeah, he's
Round
like,
two.
let's do it. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
here we go. Here we go.
He's going to roll with you this time.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. I'll keep the 3.
This is crazy. I love this.
Okay, I'll keep the 4, so that's 7.
This game is going to be burned into my mind forever.
And that's a 6, so I am over, but I got 13.
And Lewis sort of shakes his head and says, sorry. And he reveals that he got 14, and you see it listed out on the die.
Ooh. He's cheating.
He says, good thing we weren't betting on it. And you hear Cole sort of go, I never win against him either. Sort of just says it offhandedly to you, Kala, as he like
Fucking cheating.
goes into the back, and you hear him chopping heavily. Sal, what are you doing?
Is he going to be in the back for long, or could Sal maybe?
You can ask him.
You gonna be back there for a while?
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like Sal's is not going to be he's not particularly the most charismatic. I don't think he would be doing the nice little hey how you do thing. I think he's just gonna quietly get up from his seat and follow along to the back as well for a quick private conversation. And hopefully no one's bothered by that.
Sure. Yeah, okay. So he goes into the back, and you're going into the back too?
I'm just, well, yeah, pretty much. As close as I can to the door, just inside of it. Where am I?
You're
outside.
Outside still.
There I was. Oh, I don't need to be. Yeah, I'll just pretend I was over by the bar the whole time.
Yeah,
and, if I could just sneak on in there to that little the spot.
Yeah,
by the door.
I think he sees you go in, and he goes, out.
Ooh.
Like it's very clearly like his like cooking area, you know.
Now before
what is that?
you
Is that
say
like
out, after he said out,
Okay.
I have a question for you. Just a small question. Shouldn't take much of your time. I still have that little Erosia cut gem.
Yeah.
I'd like to sort of take it from my pocket in a not menacing way,
Okay.
and sort of just gently produce it and say, "Are you familiar with these? Do you know what these are?"
Yeah, give me a persuasion roll with disadvantage.
That's fair. That's okay.
Hello, line cook.
Yeah.
That's a 5 for one, and that's okay. So we're going 5.
Yeah, I think he's holding a cleaver. He throws the cleaver into the board, like not to menace you, but to accent his point. And without turning his head, he says, "Out. I won't ask you again."
Sal is going to take the cleaver out of
You're
the
gonna
board.
walk over and take the cleaver. So he's
How far away from him did he throw it at me? Like,
look
where
at the map.
Oh, he didn't throw it at you.
No.
Throw it at you.
He put it into the cutting board to accent his point.
Oh,
It's
I thought he
basically
threw
where
it at the door. I took that way too casually.
No. To accent his point, he threw it, like he chopped it into the cutting board, just to accent his point, and then put both hands on the cutting board, and without turning his head, said, "Out."
Take it. Take the cleaver.
Walk over there and just
Don't break eye contact.
I
Take the
would
cleaver.
like to take a step closer.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Just a step closer.
Die.
Yeah.
Don't you have 1 hit point also?
No, we rested, remember?
We did.
Did we?
Yeah,
I
did we do
don't
that?
think we did.
I thought we just had a nice 8-hour rest.
That was like an hour ago. That was
Yeah.
before
Or
we
the
did the
fight.
last
Leveled.
fight.
We leveled.
Yeah, did
You
we level?
leveled. Yeah, but you haven't slept.
Right.
Yeah, I
All
mean,
the same hit
yeah.
points, but yeah.
Put it this way: this is a bad idea.
I'm not
Just
going
starting
to fight
shit for
him.
no reason.
I'm not going
He
to
doesn't know
fight
that.
him.
Maybe we should say that.
All right, I'll say this.
Let's run it down.
All right.
You met this guy in the tunnels.
Yeah.
You called him not a real orc. You basically
Yeah.
called him like a
A
coward.
coward.
Yeah.
Then you entered his bar and gave him kind of like a sassy line, which was
Yeah.
also. Then you entered into his like private quarters, which he requested you to leave.
Yeah.
Then you pushed it, failing, and he asked you again to leave. And now your approach is to approach the guy.
I know when you say it like that, it doesn't sound like a good
I
idea.
only want to spell it out for you
But
to
you
be
got-
aware of the view from this character, because he does
that
not.
was before it was
Yeah.
revealed that we had not rested as much as I had assumed.
Well, I mean, even if you hadn't rested, I don't think Sal's like an idiot. I think
No.
Sal would pick up on social cues and like,
Yeah.
even though this feels like a place, even if this went south, Sal's smart enough to know that this is one guy in a town of many that would clearly support him. You don't even know
Yes.
how this town deals with crime yet. Like, they could be like, cool, we're going to pull you at a horse until your entrails are gone. Like, this is going to go real bad real quick if something went down, regardless of who threw the first punch. And
Which is
Sal, I
fair.
think,
Yes.
and I think it's easy to get caught up in the moment, but Sal would be aware of that. Like
Yes,
Sal
he
would
would
be
be.
like, yeah.
And I think before I had realized that, okay, man, I was still pretty much hurt. I was thinking, okay, he's got an arm in a sling. He just had to basically crawl back up to go to the bar.
Sal's
If something
pushing.
goes bad, I'd be fine. But now knowing that I'm maybe not as rested as I had assumed, maybe I
think-
don't go too pushy
well,
with this.
more to the point, I think. Here's I think what I'm trying to say is not that this guy could kill you. What I'm saying is think of the repercussions if you even accidentally kill this guy. That's worse for you. Because
yeah.
sure, if this gets into a fight, yeah, maybe you turn to a wolf and bite his head off. Then what happens, right? Like there's no, you just committed murder essentially for no reason because you wanted to talk to him. Like Sal is smart enough to know that if things go south, there's no way out of this town. Like you're not going to start running with no food or supplies into the middle of a new place.
Those are
it's
all
like going
very,
to the Wild
very,
West
very,
and shooting.
very good points. Those are all extremely good points.
But going to the back is awesome. Talking to him is awesome. And if you want to approach and grab the cleaver, you can absolutely do that because it's a role-playing game.
Oh no, I was only going to grab the cleaver if it was by my head because I was going to
Okay,
return
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But if it's over there, I'm not going to go over there and like actually grab it off the table. That's, that's a little aggressive.
The scene right now that we're seeing, that's where you are. That's where he is. I've described.
I was thinking if you can see that this cleaver was somewhere around here, thrown in this little by the door thing.
Yes. No,
But
he
since
just
it's not-
he just struck it in
Okay.
for. And in fact, in this back room, you see, there's like a nice little fireplace that has sort of a roasting spit on it. There's no meat on it, obviously, at the moment, but he is butchering a rabbit. There's some grain stores behind
Giant
him.
rabbit.
What's that?
That's
Oh yeah, the hairs
rabbit.
grow.
Jackrabbit.
Big
rabbit.
Rabbit.
Well, I didn't worry about the scale, admittedly.
No, I
but
like it. They
No,
grow
I
big
thought,
over here.
I thought it was an Asoran rabbit. Like that's what I was.
it is. It
You know?
is.
So they're just they're
They're
like
golden retriever sized.
Feeding up people, a lot of sausages. So I think we can establish that Sal's, being consciously antagonistic by staying, but not like viciously aggressive, trying to provoke anything.
Okay.
He is very much aware that he doesn't like Cole very much. He stands by the coward sentiment that he had portrayed before, and he's fully willing to accept the reaction from that. But I think he also wants to have a bit of an orc to orc, let's just have a conversation, ask a question, and then leave. Parting words. A question, moments of your time, and then I'll leave for hours.
Okay.
So, if he can take a step forward, and I guess one hand still has the thermite, but the other hand up, kind of in that little neutral.
So you already failed your persuasion roll.
I did.
Okay. So
I
you're
think
still
he's-
approaching.
Yes, because I think
Okay.
what he had done was originally try to just get a question right away. I think right now he's being a bit more, what's the word for not withdrawn? What's the word I'm thinking of?
Reserved?
Yeah, and a little bit more humble. Reserved, more humble in his approach. He's a bit more of a sigh, like, all right, let's try this again. I understand. We've already gotten off on the foot neither of us wanted to be off on. And I understand this is your domain. But as your domain, I ask only for a moment for you to answer one question, and then I will return back outside, and you won't have to deal with me until you absolutely must.
He grabs the cleaver.
Oh,
And you see like the green flesh of his skin around his knuckles just brighten slightly as you can see the intensity he squeezes it with. And there's like a moment, he sort of twitches his head as if he's listening to something almost, like listening to a voice in his ear. And he's like, and a long beat passes as you can see him almost physically breathe the fire out of his lungs. And you are certain in that moment that this man wants to kill you. But he realizes he is smarter than Sal. Because he realizes the move here, and he puts his pride in check, and he goes, then ask your question. If that's what you said, question?
Yes.
You said a question? Yeah. And he says it through like gritted tusks or fangs or whatever orcs have.
So Sal is going to very, very slowly but fluidly show the jewel again and say, "Where can I find more of these?"
I think he starts laughing. like there's
fair.
a moment. There's like a moment where you're like, maybe Sal is almost like a bit nervous. And then he starts laughing. Like this deep guttural laugh. He's like and he like turns his head back, and like we have a shot of like Kala and Lewis for a moment, and Lewis doesn't even like look. He just kind of, they're still playing dice. And the orc just, he like picks up the cleaver again, and he like smashes in the table, and he matches your eyes for like the first time since he left the temple near death. And he's just like, "You have no idea where you are." And he walks past you and like doesn't even check you. He just ignores you and goes back out front.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Kala and Lewis are on their... Well, no, we'll say meanwhile at Medgelina Silver Arms. The two of you, Garrus and Brea, are standing in front of... Medgelina.
I'd like to think that Medgelina has poured us each a cup of wine at this point.
No, it's like water. It's like a much more reserved drink. Because it is like 6 a.m.
Well,
That's just the way... She's a very brass tacks person. You can tell she's the kind of person that's like, wine's for when the workday's done. You know, like that kind of person. She's...
do you have any questions that you want to ask Gary?
I mean, he'll just be like, so you say you want to help and you want to know who did this. Do you have any leads? Anything we could go off if we are to begin helping you? That's what he will ask, unless you have something that would get in the way of.
I've got a couple of questions.
Yeah, she sort of just reiterates what she told you. She kind of highlights each person. You know, there's maybe 4 or 5 that sort of she doesn't know much about that could be worth looking into, and 2 that aren't worth looking into. Whether or not you value that, who knows?
Then yeah, I have nothing else unless you do.
Yeah. Medgelina, did you come here with the first settlers of this old new land?
For the most part, yes. This town started going on 5 months ago now. As you can tell, most of the buildings out there are new. She sort of, again, points out the window, and you see, you know, the bright lumber of the buildings.
Mm-hmm. And Brea walks there with her cup of water and looks thoughtfully over at the temple. But not that one.
No.
That one is old. What made you decide to settle here?
Well, that was Thalmir, really. We had tremendous help from the Crown Shore at first. It was an operation to behold, really. We all set sail after sending scouts near on the day the sun came back in Asora. They already found this place. Thalmir was, I guess, here since before the beginning.
How do I spell that name?
Thulmir.
Mm-hmm.
They sent 100. There was planning from the Crown Shore, how to build the buildings quickly and efficiently. They all helped set up in a matter of weeks, but only around 40 of us stayed. Once they knew what they were in for. And now, 5 months on, we're down to 25. Well, now 16, if we're lucky. Luck has not been our friend, as you can see.
Unfortunately. She describes the creatures that we had seen outside the town of Hythe as we came in. A tall human man with black hair. A male furbolg in white linen. That's Reese, right?
Yes, and the human, that would be Avar, the bard.
Okay. And then the female furbolg?
That's Nora, Reese's wife.
So none of those people were unaccounted for on this list.
No. And she pulls out the piece of paper again and sort of looks at it and says, When the explosions happened, I knew I needed to move into the temple. I brought, two of the dead now. My friend Eric Tomlinson, who worked at the tavern as a rabbit catcher, and Aura Fieldlander. She was a shop helper from the Worthy Traveller, the Worthy Journey. They both volunteered along with Cole Basewind, who lost his brother in the attack not a day ago. They opened the inn together. He's been struggling, but he's a strong man and people respect him around here.
Harlan, why? Why are you doing this to me? Why are
I'm
you
not
personally
making this
doing
up.
This, to me?
This is stuff that would have been so easy to ask. Literally gave you guys time before even going in the temple to be like, you have any questions, like about who you're going in to see.
How's your family? Any recent losses?
Who
I'm not blaming you, but that's the reality of it. So she says, Cole Basewind volunteered to come in. He's not a fighter, but he did his damnedest. Gabriella Clark, she's part of the guardsmen, the last remaining one, actually. Her and her wife, Janice, have Emmy, obviously. Avar is the bard. Reese and Nora, the furbolg, he's a healer. Robert Thompson, he owns the Worthy Journey. Davis Strout, he sort of kicks around. Like I said, I don't know much about him. Colwood. Millie Hunter and her son Lewis, they're gnomes. They keep to themselves mostly. Tappert Key, I know nothing about him, other than he's a turtle and for some reason thinks he can make it as a quill maker. He's staying at the Bulwark, but also missing. Lawrence and Jess, you might have met at the beginning. I believe Lawrence was watching with a crossbow in the tower as we entered. Just
a
in case.
dragonborn?
Correct.
Yes.
And then Tilter Durgis, I believe you've already met. And she looks to Garrus. You brought him back under dubious circumstances, I suppose.
Oh my goodness, yes. How is Tilta doing?
Well, I'd say you'd have to talk to him, but he's not much for speaking now.
No, I guess not.
And Omazamin Windspell was the he was our God-fearing man, I suppose. He stayed at the temple.
I wrote that name down a long time ago. So we were told that name by Emmy, I believe, on our way towards the settlement.
Well, we haven't seen him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was lost in the initial outbreak, if you'd like to call it that.
How do you lose people, Meduline? Where do they go?
I mean to say he died, Brea. There was signs of some carnage in the explosion. I don't know what happened. Like I said, if you could poke around and figure it out, you might be able to piece together some semblance of a story with him.
We'll try our best. I have one further question for you.
Of course.
When we spoke with the other party members who you had hired initially on the boat, they were excited about finding the Temple of the First Fire so that they could seek fortune. This is the temple. Do you know of any fortune, or were they hoping to rob you?
This is not the Temple of the First Fire. That's a temple of a giant spider. At least that's what it's been converted to. I think it was a dwarven temple of some sort before. Unfortunately, our God-fearing man would have known more, but like I said. No, I think what you might be referring to is a group that came here about 2 months back. They stayed. They paid their fair share. They were looking for something called the Temple of the First Fire. And they made it out to be... Well, I don't think I'm speaking ill if I say perhaps one of the greatest treasures of all time. It whipped a few of these people up to it.
She looks toward Garrus. Didn't you say one of those creatures mentioned that temple?
Oh yeah, Gary, I can't remember that, but
Said
I
the
think
Temple
so,
of
yeah.
the First Fire will die, and then killed itself.
She sort of has like an arched brow to that. Well, I'm not sure what that means. The people who passed through said it was valuable beyond belief, but...
We fully intend to help you as much as we are able. I think I can speak for both of us, Garrus.
Oh yes, definitely.
But
And probably the other two, maybe.
We'll have to speak with them.
Smash cut to Sal, making an orc who just lost his brother feel like
He's
shit.
crying in the walk-in fridge right now.
No,
And Sal's
no,
just
you know what?
standing there.
It's actually really nice because it's allowing Cole Basewind to turn his sadness into detest, to hate to Sal. He's like,
Good.
all these emotions that I'm feeling about losing my brother and helping this town for no pay and losing my life. I'm just funneling
Find
to
an
this
outlet.
terrible orc who has the audacity
Half
to
orc.
treat me this way.
Which is actually probably
then-
more insulting because I have the little bit of the orc edge, but none of the.
Follow through. Anyway,
yeah.
she says, so continue, Brea.
Though it may come to pass that we leave this place in order to seek out this temple, to sate our own curiosity or find our destiny. I don't know, but I can't promise you that we will make our lives here. I certainly won't.
That's fair. If you can help me with this task and perhaps another or two, I'll find out as much as I can about the Temple of the First Fire. The people stayed here for a matter of days. One of them stayed in my own house. I'll see what I can find. How's that for a deal?
That sounds perfect.
Fair
And she
trade.
reaches across and shakes your hand, and then Garrus's and says,
My fingernail falls off in her palm.
she's like,
There you go.
all right.
It's a deal.
And I'll additionally, I'll see if there's anything else I can scrounge up in ways of payment, should you find out exactly what I need you to. In the meantime, I suppose there's more work to be done. Although, frankly, I feel like I've been up for 48 hours. Because I have. Anyway, I think your friends went to the bulwark. Good luck.
Let's go.
And smashing back to Callow's last round with Lewis. Let's do this. Oh, no, he won the two. So he's like, he's now back in the corner. Calla, you see Sal eventually, I guess, exit the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Cole is now, I don't know, doing something useful, sweeping up broken glass from the corner. And Lewis is in the corner, sort of playing dice by himself for a moment. Sal and Calla, what do you do for a moment before your friends join you?
I don't know if Sal's going to take a big interest in what Calla was up to because, as far as he's aware, she wasn't betting anything.
Not
So
yet.
unless that's changed, the only thing that
She
Calla
bet the
might
gem.
notice is different is that
you
Sal's
imagine?
looking a little bit smug. That's it.
Sal's looking smug?
Why?
I am so confused. How? Why?
I don't know. I kind of was hoping I'd have Brea over here to explain that, but Calla asks, Sal will divulge. It's up to Calla.
Well, Callow,
Calla, please ask Sal why they're feeling
go
smug.
find out.
I'm genuinely perplexed.
Cal's eating the rabbit sausage and just looking at Sal.
All right, and then Brea and Garrus walk in. I guess.
Boom. Kick the door in.
Yeah, and you're greeted to the same scene, obviously.
I mean, they got
Friends.
wine first thing in the morning, so Brea goes
yeah.
and gets a morning cup of wine.
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to. It was more just that the dwarf wasn't like,
That's fine. I
wasn't
get that
the
she's
knee-jerk.
not a wine, not 9 in wine.
A 9 in
9
wine.
a.m.
I like that.
Oh, if Cole's over there, he's sitting here. Like that's where that's happening. He's not chilling
Cool.
that
Oh, let me
close
drop
to,
you guys on the map. I
Garrus will
forgot.
walk right up to Cole.
The ale is delicious sadness.
Delicious
Delicious sadness. Perfect. So you were all in the bar. Cole nods to you two as you enter.
Yeah, Garrus will order sausage and ale, please.
He gives you.
Plenty
You see
of
Sal
it.
looking smug for some reason,
We're friends.
some confused reason.
How was your conversation with Meduline?
Illuminating. We'll have to talk later. She looks around the bar and then gives a conspiratorial wink to Kala and Sal. And then nods at Garrus.
Does
Ah.
Do we understand what that means?
We'll talk
As
later.
much as anybody would. Exactly. As much as
We'll
anybody
talk later. Wink.
would. I'll keep eating.
So what do you do?
Brea says, Cole, I'm sorry to hear about your brother.
Oh, come on.
And he sort of looks at you with a raised eyebrow. And then back down to like glass he's cleaning, and he's like, Vigilant told you.
Yes, I'm sorry if that was inappropriate, but we asked a lot of questions about the residents of the town and about the attacks, so it came out. And well, I can't say that I've lost someone in my family. I have lost someone very close to me fairly recently, and I'm sorry.
I think he takes it with a genuineness. And he sort of nods and he says, Thank you.
Though I'm sure it's not a unique tale for the people around here, your graveyard seems larger than it should be.
He just sort of nods quietly.
Garrus will look up, maybe say, if you don't mind me asking, were you close with your brother?
And he sort of looks down again. He's like, we opened this inn together. We ran it together. I'd say we were close.
Well, let me just say I've lost my own brother. We were similarly close, in a different capacity, on the battlefield as opposed to business partners. The pain doesn't lessen, but it gets easier to deal with. Just give it time. I'm sorry for your lost friend.
And he nods and he appreciates that as well.
I don't think Brea knew that about Garrus.
No.
She kind of
he
looks
kind of-
over and nods at him. There's like a kind of bond that is spawned from grief, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even though we didn't experience it together, she like, I guess, knows you a little bit better now.
Mm-hmm.
He looks a bit surprised he even said it.
Yeah.
Cute.
I feel like we got business to do. We gotta do some
You
shit.
got business to do.
Some
There's
detecting
plenty of
to
empty
do.
tables that you can go chat.
Yeah,
at.
let's go to text.
Little tip.
Who's this?
Let's
Who's
go find
this
a table,
fool
let's
right
go
here?
find a table.
That's the gnome, Lewis.
Well, who's this guy?
You didn't ask.
Who is he?
It's a human. There's a human sitting at the table.
Is he a bard-looking fucker?
there. Yeah.
Okay, Mageline doesn't trust him, so we're gonna sit far away from that guy. Maybe over here, down at this like big table.
That's actually a stage.
Okay, we go sit on the stage.
It's a very big
right.
table.
All the world.
Yeah, all the world is a stage.
All right, so we're in this corner over here. Then?
Actually,
Let's
you know
get
what?
out of his way
No,
by
listen.
going on his stage.
Brea
Drag
is
some
like
chairs over here.
Brea's like, Cole, I'm not sure how long we'll be staying, but we'll need some accommodations. Do you have rooms upstairs? Or should we be asking someone to stay with them?
No, and he sort of nods and he's like, I have one room available that I'll rent to all of you. Except him. And he points at Sal.
Please, it would really be more to our taste to all share accommodations.
And
Nope.
if he's with us, he can't be around you.
Nope. And if you push it, I won't rent it to any of you.
What? And
I'm
Brea's
fine
confused.
sleeping outside. I enjoy
What?
the brisk air.
And he sort of like side eyes you and he's like, use your charm and persuasion to make friends with someone else. And then he snaps back to you, Bray, and he says, but I'll happily rent it to you and the other two.
All right. We'll
Which I think is totally fair.
yeah, we'll
That's
start.
fair. That's 100% fair.
There's like literally
Cal-
no reason. Like, I don't think he can prevent you from walking in the front bar. He recognizes that's a losing fight because what's the point?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he doesn't fucking need to give you anything other than the bare minimum.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So we got a home base now, which is great.
Yes.
Three of you do.
Yeah,
I say
that's fine.
it's nice outside, and I throw the plate down and pick my teeth, and and head out.
Yeah, let's go for a walk.
The air's too orcish in here. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you go for a walk.
All right. And out we go.
Don't need to make your characters move.
I was gonna do
This is
We're
the
gonna
theater
walk,
of the
I'm just gonna
mind.
walk in a
They're all like
circle.
moving them out to the door. It's
Not all.
the cool ones were.
Yeah.
I didn't
What?
start.
I'm
That's-
dumb and I stay
Well,
in
no,
my
no.
spot.
Well, to be fair, last time you said that she was outside and we laughed, we chuckled about it. So this time she was like,
That's true. You burned me before, Harlan.
Marlon, be consistent.
Did I? I don't remember that.
You're like, you're not even in the bar. Look at you.
Oh, because you said, "Where am I?" You went last time. You went, "Where am I?" And I said, "You're still outside." That was the
that's right.
joke.
Okay,
I
walked
wasn't
into
like,
that one. That's
"You're outside." I was just like, "Well, because you haven't moved your character." So you head outside, and
Yeah.
I would imagine
We catch them up.
Well, and I would imagine that with Meduline's help, you sort of piece together what all these buildings are.
Yeah, totally.
So she would have told you a little bit of additional information about all of these, to the point where I would also happily answer any brief questions you might have. But for the most part, yeah, you are walking outside the Bulwark Inn. It is a bright early morning. There's a crispness to the air, and the ground is brown and hard, just like sort of you've seen since you've arrived here. Very, very much a lack of vegetation across the board.
Sal is still got the little smug undertone going there, and I think having talked about this, he'll think of a place that's worth staying in for a few nights and say, in the end, it doesn't matter where I sleep. Good news, friends. Seems my reason for being here has arrived, and I might be leaving sooner than any of us expected. And he's going to hold up that gem. Apparently, these are even rarer than I realized. It's exactly why I came to this land. So he's feeling pretty triumphant with this.
You're glad this nobody, know nothing cook didn't know what the rock was because you were hoping that it was.
Oh,
gonna
you
be
took his
Sal.
laughing but you took his laughing as him not knowing.
right.
Oh yeah, that's all he has from that. That's all he had from that, because whatever
Okay.
could
Comedy
be
continues.
involved for Cole to laugh at that is.
I love the
idea
camera
of-
pans over to the garbage behind the inn, overflowing with these gems. that are all
I'm
just-
genuinely kind of hoping that someday that does actually happen. But right now, he's
You're just
feeling
like a
very
one
good.
use, like smash,
Deodorant.
drink and then toss. or
Yeah,
something.
deodorant. I
You're
like
really
that.
fun.
That's good.
Because he got a pretty good understanding of what this jewel physically was. It looked rare. It seems unusual. Whatever it was made of, whatever was inside of it, was not from any place he's seen before.
Oh, yeah.
And he's trusting Brea's instinct because he saw the glimmer in her eye when he took it, as well as when they first found it. And
yeah.
whatever obstacles are in the way to get more of these, if those exist, they seem to be laughable. Hopefully in a bad sense, in a I hope you have fun getting them sense.
No.
To make it worth of this, it's rare enough that it would be difficult for anyone else to find. And that is what he wants to bring home to his friends. Something that they can use, something that they can revolutionize.
It's a worthwhile endeavor. And I'm excited to see it come out.
if you make me walk around a building, there's like 50 of them there, I'll be so mad. But I'll deserve it.
No, everything I said about the thing is 100% true.
So Brea shares with Sal and Kala the information that we learned, and she says, "I know that we're all here for different reasons, but I kind of told Meduline that we would help her. Plus, it seems kind of fun, right?"
Get to be detectives for a little bit.
So apparently, there are people doubting Meduline's leadership, and she suspects that potentially there are a faction of people, or maybe just one or two, that blew a hole in the temple of the giant spider to allow the escape of the evil within. I think we should find out who these people are and figure out why they were possessed by such a chaotic idea, right?
Agreed.
Who are those bodies that we found in that temple? Why not start with them or their families?
Yeah, Eric Tomlinson died, and what was I wasn't able to write down the female's name.
Oh,
The butcher?
It was Eric Tomlinson and Aura Fieldlander, and Meduline had said that Eric
Was from the
a
tavern.
human who had worked at the tavern as a rabbit catcher, and that Aura had helped out at the shop, the Worthy Journey.
But I think if Sal's asking that question, he's content to help. Like he does like all of you. He's not just going to pack up and leave. But he's satisfied enough with what he has that anything else is just extra.
I'm sorry that you're not going to be able to stay with us. I mean, I could probably sneak you in if you can't find anywhere else to stay. What happened that you got on his bad
that's good.
side so quickly?
prodigiously fast.
I feel
I guess
like,
we're all like staring at her now.
Him.
Leaning
Him,
in.
yeah.
yeah. I feel like he can give a very honest but intentionally neutral statement of events. And I think from there, allowing you all to draw your own conclusions of how this happened so quickly and what things might have motivated certain reactions on either side, particularly in the whole, I want my stuff for my friends versus, wow, you're kind of jerk face, aren't you, buddy? So...
Do you think Sal has an issue with orcs? Because Sal hasn't really been standoffish to anyone else yet.
No, he hasn't. Well, he has. I think the only reason why it happens to be Cole right now is because Cole was the first one who seemed the most accessibly pliable. Like he could see that will to fight on. So he thought that at least that would be in his grasp to sort of, fan the flames of. But even when even that failed, he's no chance he's going to speak to anybody else, not Gabriella or whoever the other...
Oh, you mean to convince them to stay and fight?
Yeah. So if he failed at that...
But now that Sal knows that Cole is a tavern owner, would that not inform the previous assumption? Like, he's not a guard or anything like that. Like, he was a dude who was like, yeah, I'll help. And two of the other people who were like, I'll help, died doing it.
Well...
Like, wouldn't Sal's takeaway be more like, oh, that guy's kind of a hero, not like, fuck that guy.
And that's why I still think from Sal's point of view, the fact that he put in as much effort as he did and kept going until the end, the fact that the others didn't keep going is not just limited to Cole. Cole might be the one he's having the most interaction with, but I think he has a little bit of bitterness for everybody leaving it up to him and his party. So
So Sal like sort of expects more out of the people.
He understands that it's admirable that they picked up a sword to begin with, but the fact that they didn't see it through says more than it should to a more reasonable interpretation. A kinder interpretation would say to focus on the first part, but he's looking at the second part of you still left.
Interesting.
Sounds weird, but I like it. Let's camp. No, Kala's already putting up a tent. This is nothing, like she slept outdoors for, all the
Cool.
time, I guess, in her village. And
So you're all choosing to sleep outside then?
No way.
No.
Oh.
No.
You're doing it for Sal?
Yeah. Kala will stick with Sal.
Oh, Calla will stay with Sal. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I know that there's
is honorable. I
there's
love that.
hyena monsters that like to attack this town. I'm not super
Yeah.
excited about staying outside just in a tent.
Yeah.
But that's
we could
great.
stay outside of the building in a tent.
I mean,
Besides
it's
the
still
tent.
like 8 a.m. So
Yeah,
you
we're
can
not
set up a
sleeping
tent
right
to like claim your area. But
Yeah, worst case scenario, we go back to
just
the
in
cottage.
case a bunch of RVs come in, I want to claim this.
I want to go. So right now, Brea's typical hunting grounds, shall I say, prior to coming on this adventure, the places where she made her living was by taking advantage of people in urban areas. She was raised in the country, but when she left home, she made her living by cheating and stealing in the city. And so being that the inn right now, it's like 8 a.m. Plus I don't necessarily want to like take from these people. I think the next place she wants to go naturally is to the shops. She wants to see what kind of merchandise these people have to sell, whether these people are, Magellan wasn't like, I can give you 100 platinum pieces, right? It's not like a wealthy community. So she's just curious, like, how do these people do business? How do they get along? So she's curious about the worthy journey.
Cool.
I don't know if anyone wants to come with, but I also think, like, in a meta sense, we have cash, we need health potions. We should look at what kinds of stuff we can stock up on.
It's a good place to start for
let's go.
investigation
Let's
as
go.
well.
Absolutely. Well, we know that Aura Fieldlander was from that shop, so let's go take a look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you head over to the worthy journey, and as you approach, you notice that the door is locked.
Is it closed?
I suppose it's still like 8 a.m.
It seems closed,
Ish.
maybe. There's no like electric neon sign.
Yeah. Do they do Best Buy time?
No, I mean, is it closed? Like, we could look inside the glass. Is it glass?
Yeah, you can look inside. It does not look active.
Not like a sign. Ye olde shop. Will ye olde open?
Will ye be open at 80 EM? No, you have a piece of information on this to answer this already.
Because Aura's dead, the shop's not open?
No. She's, I'll just give it to you. So there's a number of people on this piece of paper that are missing.
Ah.
And she told you that this shop is owned and operated by Robert Thompson, who's missing.
Right.
Right,
Okay.
Robert owns the worthy journey.
Yep. So there's a few of those types of clues that are going to be...
There's a lot of information. We're
Yeah,
trying to keep
there's a
up
lot,
here.
and I'm not trying to punish you at all. Don't get me wrong. We're going to be winding down any minute now, so then
Yeah.
you have time to sort of absorb it and make some notes. But additionally, I gave you that piece of paper with the intention that you can scratch it up and be like, oh, this dude owns this dude owns this, because as you fill that out, everything's going to be crystal clear in terms of like where you want to go next and who you want to ask. So
I pull something out of my bag.
okay,
Something that I've held on to for a little while.
yes,
That I'm curious if maybe it holds a clue to one of our hidden or missing people.
okay,
A quill.
Oh.
I found a very expensive quill
that's right,
in a barrel
yeah.
in one of those homes, and one of our missing people is a quill maker.
Correct.
Food for thought.
Oh, I thought you were going to do something else with it.
Well, I thought maybe he's been through there or goes there potentially. So, I might ask around to see if anyone recognizes its work, right?
Cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I
Cool.
go to the Silver Arm Manor because I know that Magellan's there. I'm like, do you know this quill?
Sure. The four of you show up. She like kind of nods to Kala and Sal at the first time seeing you guys again. And confused because you're not resting because that's what you said you wanted to do. But she's like, whatever. Guess they're those type of people. And she's like, sorry, I'm really tired. See you in 10 minutes when I'm not sleeping. Mixed messages. And she sort of looks at
we
it.
got kicked out. It's
And she's like,
we wanted to
this could definitely be something that Tappert would use. He's often trying to push them at the bulwark. He rents a room there.
At the boat. Okay.
I think Cole's got a few people staying there. Cole would be the best person to ask, at least about a number of these people. Like I said, he's definitely the pulse of the town. And so long as none of you needlessly, for like no reason, pissed him off, I can't think of a logical reason why he wouldn't be more than happy to work with you. It's interesting because he's got a very similar backstory to some of you, and he's very easygoing,
To be fair,
seems
there
like
was
a
a
nice
reason,
guy.
just not a good one.
Is there anything Cole particularly likes, like a confection, something that would really mellow him out if he was severely pissed off?
Honestly, as long as you respect him, you listen to him, and you do whatever it takes.
And
I would probably cut Sal out for a little while in terms of talking to him. Unfortunately,
I honestly think that furthers the idea of taking that room either the two of you or the three of you, depending on what Kylo prefers to do, and spending that time to talk with him while he's after work, relaxed.
Yeah.
Bond with him. That's fine. Sal's happy.
Or Sal do it too. Or Sal eat some crow and go back after learning this stuff and being
Is
like,
that allowed?
maybe I should. Of course, you can do whatever you want. It's a role-playing game. But the only person he's pissed off with is you for a very logical reason. And Sal's reaction so far has been like, I'm justified. I got this. If Sal ever tips that and is like, oh, maybe I should try to figure this out, then obviously there's going to be ways to figure it out because your team is also going to be behind you. They'll be like, yeah, we want to work with this dude. But that's on Sal. And right now, 10 minutes ago, Sal did something that they're still feeling very confident about. It might take a night of sleeping outside before Sal can let that go. And then maybe be like...
I think the night of sleeping would be good for everybody on those levels. I think he's not someone who should be smug. So let's just fix that a little bit.
But no, she's like, no, he doesn't really like anything special. Let me read exactly. I wrote a lot about all of these characters.
You know, if this was Stardew Valley, if we give him like a daffodil, is he gonna love it, or is that like one of his least favorite things?
Honestly, and perfectly, I think, and she says, you know, he really, and you already did this unfortunately, but he really loved his brother. His brother, and she gives a little bit of background. Maybe she's like, his brother was somebody who did a lot of fighting over there where we came from. And I know that Cole was very nervous about his brother fighting in these wars. And when they had done the last one, he had convinced him to retire. Cole was always the more peaceful, the more playful one. And
The last war.
yeah, well, you know that actually the lands you came from, at least when you left, were relatively peaceful. There was this sort of moment of like unity throughout the various, you know, places. It's that time before, you know, Lord of the Rings, where it's like, and everything was good, you know, like the hobbits are all happy and shit, and everything's sort of in unity. It is that time. And
Sauron comes along.
fucking Sauron. Anyway, and then she's just kind of like, you know, he reveres his brother, and losing him was tremendously painful for him. So, you know, but like honestly, that would have been the only real thing you could do, and two of you already knocked it out of the park. So going back and being like, hey, by the way, also your brother, this is just gonna be weird.
Yeah.
So.
Let Sal sit in this.
Sal comes in
Sal?
next morning with a card that just says "Sorry about your brother."
Sorry, your brother died.
With a puppet.
No, it's like a
brother.
cat.
So Sal,
It's like a cat picture or some shit.
so Sal, I have an idea. How good is your sense of smell when you're a wolf? It's pretty good, right?
Oh, exceptionally good.
You think you could sniff out some of this dynamite?
Oh! Wow!
Ahmed, I love that.
That is
Very
a very
smart,
different direction
yeah.
I thought I was going. I love, yeah.
I was thinking Inkfoot wasn't like still not able to do it, but you could do it as a wolf. Word, that'll work.
Let me see.
That was an
Meduline, who's like
inspired
still in
idea.
front of you, is like, yes, that would work, but I can tell you where we got the dynamite
Peace
from.
out, Meduline. I just leave. I mean,
Okay.
cool.
Well,
thank you,
I
Meduline.
found dynamite residue on the explosion in the exterior of the Temple of the Giant Spider, or the interior. Rather.
Interior, yeah.
Right, but we also had dynamite as well. And
Correct.
So
Yeah,
it was all
but
over us.
that was the dynamite that we were given by the good guys.
By the
we
woman
want
standing
let's
in front
ask.
of
we want
No,
bad
but
guy
that's
dynamite.
That's the first good question. Is there a difference? Can Sal, as wolf form, discern a difference between the two dynamites?
We can
And
rule the
also,
people
who's
who are in there out.
responsible? Who's the quartermaster for the dynamite in this place? And does just everyone get dynamite as much as they want whenever, or
Dude,
is
are
there
they
like
making
free
it in
dynamite?
their basements?
Or is dynamite one of those things where you need to like have a license?
It's a pretty small
You never
town,
know.
but
I'm sure not everyone is known to have dynamite.
that's a good point. But yeah, a wolf could, or a pair of wolves could sniff it out.
I feel like Sal would very quietly say to Meduline is, if you could share where the dynamite is, she would be very impressed if I sniff it out later.
Wait, what are you asking, Midgeline?
Where it is, just so he can say,
Absolutely.
yeah, I sniffed
And
it
she's
out.
like, it's so funny because you guys were like so close to it like 3 times. You're like, here's the first good question. Where can we sniff all the dynamite? And I'm like, she's standing right there. Like, she gave it to you. She would know where dynamite is. Like, she's the best person to ask. And you guys are like, bye. We're going to go sniff out
We
dynamite.
didn't say bye.
No.
Well,
Well,
we're gonna sniff out illegal dynamite.
I'm
or
laughing.
people,
I'm
you
just
know.
laughing. And she's
Sal
just
would
kind of
be
like,
impressed, so she...
no, 100%. And she's like, there's only one person who carries dynamite, and that would be Thompson at the Worthy Journey, but anyone can go in and buy it. It's not difficult. When we went in, I unlocked his shop and took a few sticks. He was missing as soon as, he let me in and I bought a few sticks. Or borrowed a few sticks, I should say. He went missing afterwards, from what Emmy says.
So is there anybody who currently runs the Worthy Journey now?
Well, Robert does. This was only
he's still
24
here.
hours ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry. He's not missing.
No, he
He
is missing.
Thompson's missing and Robert's missing.
So if we want to go
No,
into
Robert
the Worthy
Thompson is
Journey,
one person.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have to
that's what
break
I
it.
said.
Oh, yeah.
do you have a way for us to get into the Worthy Journey to have a look around without us having to kick the door down? Because I don't want to do that.
And
Oh,
obviously
yeah,
her
right.
face sort of goes flush. She says, you're not to kick the door down in any place.
Well,
But
of course not.
No one suggested that.
And she sort of debates in her head and says, if you're investigating the explosion, the dynamite would be a worthy place to start. I'll give you the key. However, I want someone with you that I trust to be watching. And she says, Ninjuna will meet you there in a few moments with the key. And she sort of heads off and like locks her door behind her conspicuously just because she's like, what are these people going to do?
Don't
and
kick
then
it down.
she heads off towards the lumber mill. And I think that's a perfect place to end it for tonight.
Yeah.
You now have a first thing. Well, maybe even we'll say you sort of arrive at the Worthy Journey to see a young Ninduna Silverarm standing there. And with a cocked eyebrow, she says, let's kick this fucking door down. No, just kidding. We're going to end it there for tonight, properly. Ladies and gentlemen, great job. Wonderful role-playing. I'm so excited to get into some like story meat instead of combat meat. But you needed to prove yourself to get to 4th level and have all these amazing skills that you have. I'm really excited. This is a really fun part of any game when you get to sort of the first major hub and you get to interact with characters and figure out what's going on and, you know, what you can buy and who you can deal with and who you piss off. And
I apologize to anybody who hates watching characters who are jerks. I swear that was not the plan, but it makes sense from Sal's point of view, so I'm going to do my best to run through it.
I have no issue whatsoever. You
Hey,
play
you
it
do your
as
role
much
play.
as Sal wants to play it. Equally, characters won't respond to that all the time, but sometimes they will. And so long as the trade-off is, and I'd say this to any player, so long as a player who wants to stick to a character's guns for certain things is willing to accept that they might have to miss out on certain scenes, I think that's always a fair way to play. Because not every character is nice, and sometimes it's not fair to play nice. It's not fun to play nice. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's more fun to try to kick in some fucking teeth. But yeah, no, I'm
Weapons
really
will
excited.
be gained.
Exactly.
And that bartender deserved it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
asshole.
Him being
Brother
sad?
dies, takes up
Ugh.
arms to try to
Rude.
help out the town.
Leaves when he's almost dead. Like, be
What a
all dead before you leave.
baby.
Did
Yeah.
the brother have an
He should have
asshole?
died along
Go
with his
all the
fucking
way
brother.
dead.
God, orcs. Belong in the ground is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why I got mold earth. No, sorry. I'm joking.
Jesus. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week with the First Fire Chapter 9. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And as always, we will see you around the table. Good night.